Hello YouTube world, welcome to my channel. This video is a review of College Hill, the Celebrity Edition, Season 1, Episode 3. Before we get started, please be sure to subscribe. Now, let's get into it. First, let me say, this has got to be one of the most entertaining shows on TV right now. You have Ray J, who is always entertaining. He can make any atmosphere setting just fun. You have Nene Leakes, you have Big Frida, Dream Doll, and India Love. You also have Lamar Odom and Slim Thug. The dynamic of this cast is perfect. The production did a really good job of putting all of these cast members in one house because they play off of each other really well. All of the cast members seem to be really down to earth and just they're there to take advantage of the opportunity. Everybody's pretending like they really want to go back to school and learn. I mean, they don't want to really be back in school learning. They're just taking in the experience. It's fun. I get it. But they're playing it up for the cameras, pretending as though they really are interested in being back in school to gain some type of knowledge, but they're really there for the experience and the paycheck that comes along with the show. Stacy Dash was amongst the cast members at one point, but she ended up leaving early, not too long after starting the show. Um, Due to a medical emergency, it wasn't really disclosed. After the medical emergency, she decided to drop out of the experience, the college experience. The cast members speculated that she may not have really had any, well, they felt as though she may have had anxiety from being in the house. And that's the reason she departed the show early. When Stacy first came to the house, she didn't really want to talk to anybody. And the cast members started to feel as though she was isolating herself. It was kind of weird that she agreed to come on the show, but she didn't really want to associate with anyone. So they decided to do a room swap. They made house rules. You had to adhere to the house rules. And they had all decided to do a room swap. And so she, prior to the swap, she had her own room. But once she swapped, she had to have a roommate. And they felt as though she probably didn't like having a roommate. I believe Dream Doll was her roommate. It wasn't anything that Dream Doll did, but it was more so she just wanted to be isolated. She didn't really feel like she fit in with the other cast members. They were drinking. She didn't like to drink. She made some controversial comments prior to coming into the house, probably not even knowing that she would have an experience like this. So she just felt uncomfortable, and you could probably you could tell that she was going to find some way out of the house, but maybe she really was having medical issues, or maybe anxiety really is a medical issue. So if she had anxiety from having to share a room, then leaving the house was the best thing for her to do. And I have to add that the whole purpose for the room swap, was because of Stacy Dash. It was because they noticed she was isolating herself. They purposely did the room swap to pair her up with someone else in a room so that she could come out of her comfort zone. Either way, it didn't work out and she ended up leaving prematurely. So in episode 3, they pick up where they left off in episode 2. They in their first class, their business class, they had a project that they had to complete. They were split up in 2 groups. And the first group was Nene, Big Frida, and Lamar Odom. And the second group was Ray J, Slim Thug, Dream Doll, and India Love. So the scene opens up to India Love having a panic attack in the hallway. Her group is up next to present, and She does not do well with public speaking. She never really did too well in school. So this whole experience is giving her a bit of anxiety. And to make matters worse for her, Ray J was supposed to be the main speaker, but he had a death in the family. So he didn't show up to class. He stayed back at the house. So all of the pressure of presenting fell on India Love, Dream Doll, and Slim Thug. So they were all depending on Ray J. He pretty much put the whole project together. It was a marketing project. They had to come up with a product and they had to have a target audience and they had to promote it. And that's pretty much Ray J's thing. That's his genius. That's what he does. So he pretty much put the whole project together to the point where they didn't really do anything at all. They were probably going to say one or two words and then play the background and let Ray J just do the rest. But when everything happened with the death in the family, he stayed back at the house and all of the pressure was put on them. Slim Thug was a little upset with Ray J for not being a part of the presentation. Although he understood that Ray J had a death in the family, he still felt as though he should have still shown up for the presentation and be a part, of helping his teammates. But I disagree with that. He had a death in the family. That was definitely more serious than that project, and this is just a TV show. So I think Slim Thug should have been a little more understanding. He did understand somewhat, but I don't even think that should have been something that should have been brought up because him having a death in the family is so much more important than that project and that TV show. So the professor ended up going out into the hallway to give India a pep talk just to encourage her, and it helped. And so she went back into the classroom and they presented their project and they did okay. It would have been a lot better if Ray J was there because he would have been Ray J. Just extra, extra, and just how he is. But they did do a pretty good job. Slim Thug, he was reading the slides, the PowerPoint presentation slides, instead of just looking out at, the audience in the classroom and, really telling them about the project. He was just reading from the slides. And that was one of the critiques of the professor. Like when you're giving a presentation, we shouldn't see the back of your head. You shouldn't be reading word from word. So, but other than that, they did pretty good. And another critique was, the professor wanted them to dress professionally, which they did, but Dream Doll and India Love had on open toe shoes. So Dream Doll was a little upset about that. She felt as though she had did a really good job of dressing up. So to critique her open toe shoes, she was a little upset about that. But other than that, they did good, and they did good. So the funny part was when everyone started to snitch on each other at the end of the once everyone was done presenting, the professor, she gave her critiques to everyone, for each presentation. And the professor asked if everyone had did their own work. And because Dream Doll's team had snitched on Nene's team, telling the professor that they pretty much had someone a professional from the outside help them with their project. And so once that was revealed, Nene's like, well, Ray J paid somebody to help with you guys' project. So they both started to snitch on each other. It was pretty funny. So while this is going on, Ray J is back at the house and he is on the phone with his wife, Princess. And it is revealed that he's going through a divorce. His cast members, they don't know about it. So he's talking to his wife about the divorce, and she's saying that she doesn't want to be in a marriage with someone that doesn't care about their marriage. So it seems as though Ray J is going through a lot. So the cast members make it to week 2 of the college experience, and so they're up early in the morning getting ready for their next class. Big Frida is like the house mom. She's cooking breakfast, getting everyone up, telling them that they don't need to be late, and how Ray J is always the late one. And he's always the late one, making everyone else late. So Big Frida is just impressing upon them that they really need to be on time for school. So they get to school, and their next class is a biology class, and they're dissecting a pig. Well, on their first day, they were just more so identifying the body parts of the pig, but on the next day, they would begin to dissect the pig. And so they were just identifying the body parts of the pig. And after that, they had to take a pop quiz. And so, everyone has this look on their face like the worry look, like nobody wants to take a pop quiz. It's funny. And Dream Doll, she really didn't want to take the pop quiz because she made every excuse in the book as to why she could not take the quiz. I mean, the teacher was on her hard, like, yeah, Dream, I need you to take this quiz. And she's like, I can't because my nails, my hands, and Nini's looking at her like, girl. But it was pretty funny. But it was pretty funny. So they get back to the house after school. They're winding down. It's the evening, and they're just relaxing, having fun. And then it gets a little awkward because Big Frida asks the ladies at the table, have they ever played a game called Catch, Catch, Get a Little Bit? And so they're like, what is that game? Is it like Duck, Duck, Goose? And Big Frida explains, like, it's kind of like a freaky humping game. Like, you chase the person. When you catch them, you can, like, dry hump on them a little bit. And she was like, y'all could play the game in the house, like, catch, catch, get a little head. And Dream Doll was like, no, catch, catch, get a punch in the face. Like, ew. Like, it was a little freaky and it was awkward because Nene was looking like ill and the other ladies were too. And Big Frida tried to play it off like, laugh it off like she was joking. But his freaky side came out and it was a little ill. So the next day when they get back to school, they show the clubs that all of the cast members have joined. Slim Thug, he's a part of the government club. The student government, and Big Frida, she's a part of the choir club, and Dream Doll, of course, she does like a dance club, and Nene and Ray J, they joined the debate team. Ray J, I don't know what it is about Ray J. Even when he's trying to be serious, he just has this look on his face that always just makes him seem like he's being funny. But to see Nene and Ray J, two great debaters, meaning they're always, opinionated, argumentative in a funny way, very vocal about how they feel about something. To see both of them on the debate team is pretty hilarious. So while the other cast members are in their clubs, India Love is meeting with a professor who is also a life coach to discuss her struggles with anxiety and mental health issues. She also talks about how she realizes that she is an influencer and she has a major platform and she just really wants to use her platform for something positive. So she's, discussing this with the professor, and the professor is saying how she's willing to help her. It almost seems as though the professor wants to gain something from this relationship with India Love, but I could be wrong. But India Love seems very humble and very open to the whole college experience. She really seems like she is trying to move in a positive direction, and she's taken full advantage of this opportunity. So when they get back to the house that evening, they all get their grades for the presentation in their business class. So everyone did pretty well. Ray J, he was upset about the grade that he got. He received a C plus. He felt as though he should have received an incomplete, just like Stacy, because she wasn't there. Ray J wasn't there because of a death in the family. So he was really upset about that. He felt as though like he he didn't want to accept a C plus. He wasn't there, so he would have rather had an incomplete because a C is just unacceptable to him. And he knew that if he had participated, he would have received an A. So he was really upset about it. And later that night, he and Big Frida were talking about it. And Big Frida felt the same way that Slim Thug felt. That, he could have still showed up. He understood that there was a death in the family, but life goes on. And Big Frida went on to talk about how family would want you to still pursue your dreams, but this is not a dream. This is a TV show. And I mean, maybe they're taking it more serious than I think, but it's not that serious. It's a TV show. And even Ray J said that, like, he was like disagreeing because I don't know why they expected him to show up for a presentation when he had a death in the family. That just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. So the next day they get to class, which Ray J didn't show up to class because he was tired. So he stayed behind. And again, they're like, well, not they. Nene is like, I understand he had a death in the family, but he should have still showed up for class. I don't get why they keep harping on Ray J. He had a death in the family. Leave him alone. But anyway, so they get to class, and as soon as they're back in the biology class. As soon as Dream Doll gets in the door, the professor is like, yeah, Dream, like, your test is incomplete. Dream Doll's like, why is it incomplete? And she's like, because you didn't answer all of the questions, so you need to complete the test. So Dream Doll is upset about that, and she goes into the bathroom, and India Love, she accompanies her, and she's just talking about, I don't understand why. She's trying to make me, why I got an incomplete on this quiz. And India's looking at her like, if you don't just finish the quiz, like, you're making excuses. And at this point, Dream wants to stay in the bathroom, but India's like, I'm going back to class. Good for India, because I see the progress that she's making. Like, she's making a lot of progress. At one point she was having anxiety about coming back to school, but now she's really trying to try. Like, this really seems like they're in school for real. I mean, like, they're in school, but it's just an experience that's being filmed on TV. But I mean, I guess it really is real to them. But so Dream Doll decides to stay in the bathroom, and India's like, I'm going back to class. You're making excuses. But that's pretty much it. That was how that episode ended. We'll see what happens in the next episode. Well, that's all I have for this video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, TTYL.